Gilles, Villautreix, and Guillaume Scottez. Please help me welcome them, guys. Yes, a bit louder than this. Come on. I know it's the afternoon, but there you go. I'll let you choose. As you can see, we have 4 chairs and 3 people because obviously Ludovic, the CEO, is very busy and he's going to come join, hence the microphone. Guys, the stage is yours.
Thank you. I just need a help for my micro. But thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. It's a good transition, maybe. Thank you. To introduce you, I'm pleased to welcome you. Welcome again, Gilles Villautreix from Total. You were on stage this morning with Woody Jojo from DHL APAC.
Yes.
Thanks for being here. You came from Europe, from France.
Yes. Thank you for welcoming us.
Thank you. Thank you, Guillaume Scottez from Eutelsat. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let's talk about an ocean of opportunities, as Ludovic said this morning on stage during his opening keynote. It's time to go. It's time to start and to make Sigfox very, very, very global. Adding the terrestrial network, the terrestrial infrastructure, with a hybrid new connectivity. It's based on satellites, and this is a great partnership with Eutelsat. Eutelsat is for Sigfox different profiles, if I say so, investor, supporter, but also hand in hand to deploy a global seamless network. Sky is the limit, if I say so, Guillaume.
Yes, thank you, Marion. I'm very glad to be here today. Let me just, I'm the Director of Strategic Project at Eutelsat, and I'm managing what we call the ELO program, which is a program aiming at launching a new constellation of small satellites orbiting in low orbit around the Earth to provide global connectivity, global coverage to IoT technologies, and in particular, Sigfox technology. I would like to introduce this program with a small video. Please.
Let's go.
Welcome to the future. Welcome to the new era of the Internet of Things. A revolution that will transform businesses and improve the lives of millions of people across the globe. Across all industries, billions of devices will soon be connected to increase productivity, create new revenue streams, and support innovative services in ways previously unimaginable. But today, only 15% of the Earth is covered by terrestrial telecommunications networks. What works for phones and tablets will not be sufficient for the millions of packages and containers making their way across seas and oceans, trucks circulating in remote regions, power lines and pipelines running through the countryside, or farmers working the fields. Only satellites have the potential to make IoT truly global. Only satellites can connect the most remote devices. And so today, Eutelsat is introducing ELO, a unique constellation of low Earth orbit nanosatellites, enabling any device to send data from anywhere on the planet. Combining the latest in satellite innovations with the scale of market-leading IoT technologies, ELO will be at the core of simple, efficient, and affordable connectivity services, powering the Internet of Things everywhere. The future has never been more global and more connected, thanks to ELO.
That's great.
So this is ELO. This is the program that I'm in charge at Eutelsat. Maybe you don't know Eutelsat, so let me talk to you about it in a few seconds. So Eutelsat has been for the last 40 years one of the top 3 global satellite operators in the world. And today we are operating a fleet of 40 geostationary satellites, so satellites orbiting at the Earth at 36,000 kilometers from the Earth. And we are generating 1.4 billion euros revenues providing TV and telecom services to clients everywhere on Earth. So with this program, this new constellation, we are getting, in fact, much closer to the Earth because the satellites, the small satellites that you are building right now, will be at 500 kilometers. And with this kind of satellites, we will be able to pick up signals and messages that are emitted by Sigfox and Sigfox objects on the ground. The idea here is to integrate this new satellite infrastructure with the terrestrial networks that are deployed by Sigfox around the world and build a seamless new service that has global coverage, but also remains very low power and very low cost. So hybrid services that enable and unlock a number of new opportunities. At Eutelsat, we strongly believe that this kind of hybrid global offer has a huge business potential. And that's why we are working hard with Sigfox. We are great friends at Sigfox to deploy this new infrastructure and enable these new services as soon as 2020 with the launch of the first batch of 3 satellites. And we consider that IoT is in fact a top priority for Eutelsat in the future. And we are investing a lot of efforts and energy to improve to be able to improve this infrastructure over time and make it a success for everyone and really make IoT global in the future.
And at Sigfox, thank you, Guillaume. And at Sigfox, we think that the vision of Eutelsat is fully leading what we call the zero-G revolution, just as mentioned here. Why? Because maybe, of course, you know or don't know about Eutelsat. Eutelsat is a satellite provider. That means that in the history, your traditional excellence is more about broadcasting, but for, let's say, data which are completely opposite to IoT. Am I right?
Yes, you're perfectly right, Marion. Our core business is video first, but we also provide telecom services. But for like VSAT or broadband connectivity, which is operated from 36,000 kilometers from the Earth, it has many advantages. But for IoT, we really thought that we had to design a specific infrastructure, a specific constellation with small satellite orbiting close to the Earth in order to have the best quality of service at the most affordable price.
So, of course, before asking Gilles from Total about the potential from a customer standpoint or from a interested customer standpoint, we hope, we're talking about tracking, we're talking about monitoring, we're talking about small data still, but just to, what kind of use cases or application do you see behind? What we call Admiral Leo from Sigfox and Elo for Eutelsat.
Yeah, exactly. So Admiral Leo will be based on will take advantage of this new Elo infrastructure, but it's a brand new service that we think will be relevant for 3 major markets. The first one is transport and logistics, and here we really think that this kind of hybrid global offer can really enhance existing IoT use case by extending the reach of IoT, basically eliminating the blind spots in the global supply chain and enhancing the level of services and the granularity of the data that can be collected. So for the monitoring and tracking of transport vehicles like trucks, trains, or boats, but also the tracking of assets like pallets, kegs, anything that can be tracked. And here, global connectivity at low cost is a key asset. The second market that we see that could benefit the most from this global coverage is agriculture. Here, this kind of new offer, we think, can really unlock new use cases that were previously inaccessible with partial terrestrial coverage or with high-cost legacy satellite communications. We are talking, for example, about cattle monitoring and tracking, especially in regions where you have extensive agriculture, like Australia or Latin America. There are millions of cows and sheep that could benefit from connectivity, optimizing the efficiency of the work of farmers, but also benefiting to pharmaceutical companies or insurance companies to optimize their business. Last but not least, and I think that Gilles will talk about it in more detail than I can, is the energy sector, of course, with the monitoring of gas and fuel tanks all over the world, or maybe even pipelines. And here again, having a solution which is global, low cost, but also integrated with existing LPWA technologies is, we think, a key differentiator compared to what is available today, and bring a lot of value to the industry.
So Gilles, back to Guillaume, just listed very concretely, accurately. Does that inspire you, and in which way? Why Admiral Leo from Sigfox? Why this new constellation is an opportunity maybe to enlarge and to boost your business?
So again, as explained this morning, Total is a very customer-centric company. So we need to serve at the same level of quality the customers, no matter where they are. So if they are in a big city, in a big port, in an airport, or if they are in the middle of nowhere. So it's difficult for us to give a promise and not able to stick to it, depending on the location. So, and there are definitely some parts in the world that are not covered at all, neither by GSM nor by IoT. So we do expect that the coverage that the satellite will bring will increase our value in our services, making sure that we can serve the customers in a very consistent way.
So that means that you think about monitoring on wild area, not so easy to cover with the terrestrial infrastructure, right?
Yes, that's it. I mean, to me, the main value of this satellite is that the technology remains the same. So if I'm tracking an asset through the basic IoT network, I don't have to change the technology to be able to track through the satellite. I mean, the same asset will be available through the IoT and through the satellite, which means that it's very seamless for the customer. So no matter where the customer is, I can provide the same service. And this is really the beauty of this satellite. I don't need to get very often data, so once or twice a day, that's more than enough. But I need to be consistent, so I need to make sure that if I'm tracking an asset somewhere, it has to be in the full country or the full portfolio of the customers.
Can we just remind the audience and all the attendees here, how do you use the Sigfox technology at Total? Maybe in a few, to highlight.
So, yeah, so we have two main areas where we're working. So Total, yes, is a oil and gas company, so we're operating in more than 140 countries. We've got more than 8 product lines that we are supporting. So the idea is either to track our main assets to make sure that we are optimizing our operational efficiency, or we are tracking the consumption of our customers to help them in monitoring their consumption. That's the two main big use cases. They are not yet developed everywhere, but we do believe that if we go in one country or if we go in one area, we need to be very, broadly supported by Sigfox. Otherwise, the value is quite low. This is why we have picked a few countries, and Australia is one of these, where we would really like to focus and go in the better coverage provided by Sigfox.
That was the sense of my question. The coverage seems to be for a group like Total very, very global. That the global coverage is, of course, something obvious. Can you just make a comment on that with something that is, the issue is how to be global and to stay global.
Remaining global is difficult. We go step by step. We try to be agile. So the idea is when we've got a big customer to start with the key delivery points that is operating, and then try to expand. So we did not mention the sea, but it's true that if you providing goods from country A to country B and you've got the ocean, losing the signal for a few days, it's not very good. So if we can get at some point where the goods are during that day, even if it's just once a day, that's more than enough because it gives reinsurance to the customer. So being global starts by being good at where we deliver and then making sure that we can provide additional location to our customers.
So do you think you could subscribe to Admiral Leo and this new connectivity, hybrid connectivity with Eutelsat?
I don't think that has the legitimacy or responsibility to say yes, but I know that at the management level,
yes,
people are very convinced. So I guess and I hope, cross fingers, that Total will be one of the sponsors. We do have some use cases yet where the satellite will be very useful. So we do wait for the offer and we'll see whether we can move forward.
Sure. So about the offer, the launch is at Connect, of course, and any information is available on the Sigfox website for some of you who could be interested in. I'm also thinking about, and you mentioned, Gilles, that safety over the seas are really a big issue, meaning the security for boats or the tracking of boats, which is the maritime sector, of course. We will have this discussion tomorrow with Pascal Zamit from Michelin tomorrow morning. I don't know if you know Plastimo. Plastimo is a French company, but global, has a leadership in the maritime transportation. They are really interested in how to get benefit from a data collection, not the only the same data collection frequency, but that's something that could be, of course, game-changing for the cost. Because maybe we should you could comment, Guillaume. This proposition, this offer is based on affordability, which is, of course, the key of anything.
Yes, that was our starting point. We really wanted to make sure that this satellite offer is as affordable as possible, and that the price point that we can achieve as on the device side, but also on the connectivity side, is fully compatible with the price point which are expected on the IoT market. And to achieve this, we have designed the space constellation, the satellite constellation, using the latest technologies available, which are new on the market. It's called the new space technologies that Eutelsat is fully leveraging right now. We are optimizing the cost of the satellites themselves and all the infrastructure that is required to collect the data and transmit them to the clients. This is really essential. And this optimization is in fact possible because we are working very closely with Sigfox team so that we have the best infrastructures to relay the messages that are transmitted on the ground. Another key point that allows us to have an affordable service is the fact that we fully leverage the existing Sigfox ecosystem in terms of device production, in terms of cloud technology. So we are not building something completely from scratch. We are heavily leveraging what's existing today. And for example, on the device side, we are working very closely to Sigfox to have devices compatible with satellite, which have only a minimal difference in terms of prices compared to what you have available today on the market. That's very important. And we think that thanks to all this, we can build an affordable global hybrid service for the future with Sigfox.
But I mean, very concretely, just to get back to the solution itself, is just to a nano satellite on a low, how do you say, low orbit, thank you, like in French, embedded a Sigfox equipment directly out there.
Yes, exactly. The objects will be able, the very same object will be able to connect to satellites when out of reach of terrestrial networks. They can switch between the two seamlessly, and that allows for a very simple integration. I think it's an important point because it will be fully transparent from the end user point of view. Whether the messages are collected by satellite or by the terrestrial networks, they will have the same formats and will be transferred through the same Sigfox cloud and be available to any end user very easily and transparently. So we are not adding something complex. We try to be as integrated and transparent as possible to have a simple integration and low cost.
Do you think, Gilles, for Total, it will increase the data, the value of data? Because you as I said previously, you use the technology Sigfox for years now, I think so, and for many use cases, different use cases. Do you think that getting benefit from potentially, of course, this kind of new services, meaning the hybrid one, could give you a new, valuable data based on your existing data set?
So one key issue we are struggling with at Total is the for prediction. I mean,
prediction. Yeah.
Prediction is important because it helps in supply, it helps in reordering, it helps in providing services. So, as soon as we can get more data to either complete, enrich, or foster the data we already have, of course that will help and that will give more data that we can exploit. So yes, and especially when you lose a signal between 2 points, getting the data that you can extrapolate, that's much better. So we do believe that for some use case, the satellite will be very useful.
You mentioned the three key pillars of your vision, meaning for Eutelsat to start a revolution with IoT, not only video broadcasting. What kind of business in priority do you identify at Eutelsat?
Definitely, IoT is one of the key strategic priority for Eutelsat, and we think it's one of the major growth driver for satellite operators such as us. We are committed to become one of the leading IoT satellite operator in the world, and so we expect that there are perhaps hundreds of millions of potential objects that can be connected through satellites. And of course, this needs to be developed and proven, but we are really confident and we have this great relationship with Sigfox and its partners, and we expect it to be very successful in the future.
We talked about tracking, monitoring, telemetry, etc. When I discussed with the WWF last night, because we're deploying a project in Bhutan, which is a very wide area, they seem fully inspired, by the fact that having a satellite communication, but a Sigfox one would be really new, and of course because of affordability, because no need to have billions of data, just one information regularly. For the humanitarian sector, I would like just for you both just to react. Of course, we're not talking about business, but it could be a hope, for different needs for the wildlife protection, for the environment, and we need to act, of course, all together.
Yes, we are convinced of that. We think that providing connectivity to remote areas in Africa, for example, is key. We have been working with Sigfox for some years now on the rhino protection initiative. And we really think that this kind of satellite connectivity can further enhance and develop this kind of wildlife protection. And there are also, I'm sure, many other potential use cases where you can provide, global security to remote regions and to remote communities. So, yeah, it's also very important in this respect.
And for Total is one of the main tagline is committed to better energy, which also means that we need to help customers, not only B2B but also B2C customers, to better use the energy. So anything which is around energy harvesting is very important, and Total is quite focused on helping. So when IoT allows us to better consume in a more sustainable way, of course, Total will be supporting these initiatives.
So just for, because we are on day one of this Sigfox Connect event, of course, I invite you to visit the Sigfox village and the energy harvesting booth with a lot of great startups developing specific modules and specific devices. Thank you so much. I'm going to end that discussion altogether. I'm really, really happy to welcome you in Singapore at Sigfox Connect. Thank you, Guillaume. Thank you, Gilles. Enjoyed the experience. And I will ask for Paul, if Paul is around. Maybe, Paul, can you hear me? No? So let's wait a little bit. Yes, Paul is around. I'm sure he's around. Just waiting for Paul. What kind of startups? Maybe you have visited some of them, Gilles, in this area, in the tracking.
Yeah, well, I met a few guys that I already seen last year, and the good thing for us is to see how the monitoring. Oh, it is.
Sorry, I'm just here because apparently I was called on
Paul
stage
is
and I was not hearing. We don't have the sound backstage. Did you call me?
Yes, I call you.
Oh.
Because, no, it was like I was ending our great panel discussion asking you maybe earlier than before.
It's more than fine, actually. We're all ready, actually, for the next bit, which is very exciting. So whenever, if you finish, we can just applaud you. If you want final words, maybe?
Yeah, I would like to thank you again, both of you. Maybe we could applaud our guest. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.